Okay, we are live at Playhouse Studio, vibing with Veto. I got two of my homies with me. I got Wes Leaf. Introduce yourself, homie.
What's up? I'm Wes, checking in with Vibin with Veto.
Earth to West.
Yeah.
And I got my homegirl. Introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? I'm Erinn.
Okay.
Know.
And shit, we just cooling, man. So, you
Yep.
know what I mean? Again, I like to say, like, in terms of, like, everything that you do, like, music-wise, you were doing some things with some artists. That's how we met. We met
For
with
sure.
Scotty ATL.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I know you do, like, your events and stuff like that, too, as well. But I never know how to, like, introduce you. And I, like, talk to you about people, like, what you do. Like, you just so great at everything. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the people and what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's hard, too, for me a lot of times. I think it depends on the context that you meet me in.
Right.
But I would say I'm an experience designer. So I'm not just a party promoter. I'm creating a sensory experience. My goal is to bring people together, specifically Black people. And I always want Black women to feel safe. So I create experiences where Black women feel safe, where Black people feel seen. Anybody can pull up, but
Right.
I'm throwing my shit for the niggas. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then, I started out in artist management. That's how a lot of people know me.
Right.
I was an artist manager for 10 years. I still have one artist that I manage, Nigerian rapper. Her name is Wande. But aside from that, as recently as last year, I had like 8 artists on my roster. Plus, I had a booking agency that represented 18 artists. But I exited my booking agency at the top of this year. And my other company, Build Your Own Dreams, that's what's tatted on my nipples.
Dope.
That company was doing some artist management, but we do everything. We throw events, we do marketing, we do a lot of consulting with brands, we do a lot of brand partnerships with Instagram, Reebok, Crown Royal, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, I teach. So that's where I make most of my money now, teaching about the music game. So I've lived so much. I started out in rock music 12 years ago, and then now I'm here. So teaching about the game is where I make my bread, and I really love teaching. I'm kind of halfway out the door of the music game, but I still do a lot of consulting gigs. I still pull up to the award shows, but I'm not super tied in like I used to be.
Right. I was gonna ask you, when you said rock music, like, was it a big transition going from rock to like straight rap with nigga shit? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm from Atlanta.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is my people. And then the rock band that I managed, it was fronted by a Black dude, and the drummer was Black. So it was still rock from niggas. You know, it's our genre.
Yeah. Fact.
But I was touring on Warped Tour, so that's like hella white people. It was a white industry for sure, but I just took my thought process from rock music, which is like DIY, figure it out yourself, do it yourself, and I brought that over to hip hop. So even before people were like, I don't want to sign to a label, I already knew how to throw my own tours. I had thrown a festival. We had toured the US and the UK. So for me, when I brought that type of ethos to rap music, people were really messing with it, because they're like, oh wait, you don't have to wait for anybody. You know, like now that's the norm. But I started working in like the underground hip hop scene in Atlanta like 8 or 9 years ago, so it was way different back then, and people were still trying to get on and get somebody to get them on, and I was like, put yourself on, let's do this.
Right.
I'm interested in what inspired you to want to create spaces for Black people. You mentioned that earlier.
I think trauma has a funny way of doing that. You know, I just never felt like I had a space for myself. My parents are cool. I love my parents. My mom is a great human. They're both still together. I grew up in a 2-parent household, but it was just like they had come from an era where they weren't taken well care of, because they couldn't they grew up both really, really poor. So their focal point with us was like, my kids aren't going to grow up poor. They're going to have, they're going to go to good schools. They're going to have food, and they're going to have clean clothes. But they gave me that, but they weren't giving me affection. I'm a middle child, so I'm the only girl. I have an older brother and a younger brother. So I just always felt out of place. I'm an oddball in general, because I'm really myself. And so I think that when you're growing up and everybody's trying to emulate something, you naturally stick out. So I always felt out of place. So I started feeling like I want to create spaces where I feel safe. So I just started throwing parties and events around what I wanted to do.
Right.
And then from there, people were like, damn, I love this. I need more spaces like this. I wish I didn't have to go to the club. Like, I'm glad that you know what I'm saying? Then I'm like, oh, more people want this. It just hasn't been there because everybody was following the archetype that was already created.
Right. So in terms of that, in terms of like the events, so can you explain like some of the other like type of events that you have done like with artists too as well that kind of coincides with your brand that you really wanted to, put forth?
Yeah, it's funny. I can tell you about one of my favorite parties that I'm getting sued for right now.
What?
Yeah, it's
Damn.
not,
So
I'm
the game is
laughing.
like that for real. Like
that
it's
for
cutthroat.
Real. It's if you knew, especially as a woman, the type of shit that I have to go through, just like it's wild. But yeah, I can't wait until everything is resolved.
They sued you for a party though? Like,
yeah, because
how do you sue for a party?
Because
though?
it's huge. So it's a big party I started with a homeboy of mine back in, 2018 we came up with the concept in his mom's basement. 2020 we did it for the first time, right before the pandemic hit. We did it February 2020. It's called Trap Sushi. Right. So what we did in November of the year before was we got tattoos and people were like, oh, do you like sushi? And we'd be like, yo, it's for our party. You got to come to Trap Sushi. It's like anime, trap music, but we do sushi. The reason I came up with the name is because it's my love letter to Atlanta. So Atlanta, I hate when people say, I don't like Atlanta. I'm like, Atlanta is the one city that anybody can love. Like whatever you're into, you can find it here. And you don't like Atlanta's a city that doesn't have a lot of, there's haters everywhere, but it's not a gate kept city. Mm-hmm. If you can figure some shit out, people respect it, right? So I'm like, there's a side of Atlanta for everybody. So if you don't like Atlanta, you just haven't found your side yet. I feel the same about trap music and sushi. Everybody likes sushi, they just don't know it yet. Everybody likes trap music, they just don't know it yet.
Right. So
that was my love letter to Atlanta. I'm like, we gonna and then I'm a big teacher. I like
right.
My whole life I've been teaching people. Right. I want to expose people to stuff. Right. So now more Black people eat sushi, but that's even recently, 2 to 3 years.
Right.
But a lot of times when I used to tell people I ate sushi, people be like, I don't mess with that.
Right.
Fish stuff. But it doesn't have
I
to
love
be
sushi.
raw.
I love
you know
sushi.
What I'm saying? There's so many versions of sushi. There's vegetarian sushi. There's all sorts of different things. And so I wanted to expose people. I wanted to bring a lot of worlds together because that means that you're building a really strong community. If you're a monolith and you're only doing the same thing over and over again, you don't create a diverse ecosystem. And when your ecosystem is diverse, same with your stomach. When you have a lot of gut, a lot of different biomes in your stomach, you have a healthier gut. When you have a lot of different biomes in the water, as long as they're not toxic, the water is actually better for you to swim in. It's better for the fish. So that's how I developed things.
Right.
So we came up with the party concept. We threw it in February 2020. In fact, Scotty was, we made him like the presenter of the first party because I used to throw shows. I had never thrown parties before.
Right.
So I was like, we need somebody's name on this. And he came and did grills. We had hot wing sushi and then regular sushi done by the chef.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? We had it was super cool. We had a tattoo artist there. The first 10 people through the door got a free sushi tattoo.
That's hard.
Yeah, so
so people were interested in getting the sushi tattoo too.
A few people.
That's hard. I would have got that shit. Hey, tap me right here.
Because people are like, what? Random people are gonna get sushi tats? I'm like, yeah.
Man, that's hard. It's an experience.
So now I got at least 15 people in the city that have random sushi tats because they came to my parties. We ran it back for the first 2 parties, but then after that, our new venue didn't want us to run tattoos. But what happened was the party got pretty big. The dude who was throwing it with me, his girl didn't like me. I think she was intimidated. It was weird too because I'd known him way before I knew her. And when they started dating, I was trying to get to know her because this was my dude. He's my homie. We would hang out. I'd do Friendsgiving with them, whatever. But she just didn't like me. I get that a lot. I'm like a polarizing person. People either love me or they hate me. If you love me, it's probably because you're secure. If you hate me, it's probably because you're extremely insecure. Because I am who I am.
I only get good vibes from you,
for
though.
Sure.
I ain't gonna cap.
But if you have bad vibes, imagine what I do to you. I disrupt your whole.
How can somebody have bad vibes with you? Because you come with a smile. That's the first thing that I noticed when I first met you. You was just like, hey, Veto. And I'm like,
I try not to think too hard about it, but, there's a lot of evil and there's a lot of spirits in this world that don't want people like me to win. So I try not to overthink it, but it is what it is,
Right.
So she didn't rock with me. I could tell, and I'm a feeler. I'm very discerning. My intuition is on 1,000. And I knew off rip she didn't like me, which is why I tried to spend time with her. Ain't nothing here. You got your mans. He's just my friend. I really, and she could tell I wasn't into him. You know what I'm saying? I really respect her, whatever. But it wasn't that. I thought it was that at first, but I realized she just didn't. I think she's intimidated. I think I was probably the first woman she's ever seen move and shake like I did. I would be like, we're going to do this. And then 6 months later, we were doing that thing. I think a lot of people talk because she's a talker.
Right.
But I turn shit out. That's just in my nature.
Hey, I love doing like work like that. Like if we have an idea and it's like, okay, we talk about it Sunday.
Yeah.
Let's get the ball rolling by Wednesday. Let's start seeing what we need to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that like I'm an action person.
Let's get to it.
I'm an action person.
Like I would rather not waste my time. Let's just not say it if we're not going to do it. You know? And so she didn't like me. So as the party started growing, she was helping out with it. And he even was like, she's helping out with the party. We need to be paying her. I was like, cool. She can take a third of the party, right? Like she was helping him do his part. I was doing like 80% of the work. He was taking 50% of the money. I'm like that. But back then, especially the way my self-esteem was set up, I always felt like I needed other people. And I was just like happy to be there type things. So I would do a lot of the work, use a lot of my relationships, and he would just pull up whatever the stuff would get done. So when she came on board, I'm like, y'all are taking home 2/3 of the money. So I'm going to fall back a little bit. He's like, I feel like you're lazy. I'm like, that word has actually never been used for me. Like
right,
ever.
Right.
Nobody has ever said that about me.
Right.
He's like, I feel like you're trying to. I'm like, look, what I'm doing is I'm not giving you the 80% that you were getting before because y'all are taking home 2/3 of the money. So I'm like, but it's cool. After the next party though, she wouldn't even speak to me. She would pull up to the party, wouldn't speak to me, whatever. And I'm such a person about peace. Like my name actually means one who brings peace, right? So I'm big on peace, but I don't do the fake shit. If we have to have a hard conversation, let's have it. But she's not that type of person. I don't mind confrontation because it shows you where people are.
Right.
As long as we're respectful, we're in a good place.
Right.
So she didn't want to. She wouldn't say hi to me. She would walk around the room to avoid me. I could see her looking at me and pointing and talking to her friends. So after that party, I'm like, yo, y'all take the Atlanta event. I'm gonna take it and do it in other cities. I was already starting to produce shows in Texas because my business partner with Build Your Own Dreams lives in Texas. So I'm like, let me just take the shows all over the U.S. You can have Atlanta. He was like, bet. Because niggas be short-sighted. Of course, right now that seems great because now you get 100% of the revenue of a party that's already existing, building, flourishing. But I knew that if I spent time on it and I could build my personal brand, but then also build that brand, I can take it to other cities. So that was 18 months ago. So I throw it last week in Texas and I get sent a cease and desist. The cease and desist says he's the sole owner and creator of the party, that he owns the logo, the trademark, whatever. So now what he's told me is that he's filed the trademark behind my back, right? So I won't get too deep into the details of everything, but he doesn't own the trademark yet because he just filed for it. He filed for it last year. The trademark office is backed up because of COVID. So they're just now processing trademarks that were filed in 2020. So not only is the cease and desist fraudulent, everything you're saying in it is fraudulent. So my lawyers, I have a legal team. I represent, my company is about IP, intellectual property. So the reason that my artists, you probably never heard of any of my artists, but they're all making 6 figures is because I'm like, here's how you make money off of everything that you own. Instead of selling it to a label, here's how you monetize this. Here's how you monetize this. Here's how we build a business around this. Here's how, you know what I'm saying? That's how I think. So I know about IP. I have an IP attorney. So I hit one of my attorneys. He's like, no, we need to take it over to this attorney. So they were like, send me whatever evidence you have, because he was my homie. We didn't have any paperwork, but I got hella screenshots. Mm-hmm. I have hella screenshots. I also have when I paid for the logo to be made and the graphic designer sent it to me and then I sent it to him. So
that's
legally,
what it is right there. You pay for it.
Legally, I have the first use of the mark that you're claiming that you own.
Right.
So my lawyers answer back with just only a handful of screenshots. I have a shit ton of evidence. Of course, he doesn't respond. So what he now does is he's starting to call vendors that I'm working with, like, she's fraudulent, she stole this party from me. They released a statement on the page. The page has thousands of, probably like 10,000 followers on the page.
Trap Sushi.
But I had just started the Trap Sushi ATX because we were doing it in Austin, Texas, ATX page. I wasn't trying to hide. I tagged them in it. We agreed to this. Well, I don't have shit to hide. I also currently am throwing 5 to 6 events a month. I don't have shit to steal. I have a staff. I have 7 employees. You throw one party every month. That's all you do. I gave you that party. When I first started working with him, how I worked with him is because I was already throwing events. He called me and said, hey, can you throw my event? First event we ever threw 8 years ago, sold out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you sit down with me, but if he gets to you first, so like after this, I have to get on a call with somebody that I just got a contract with last week that he called and said, I stole the party concept because we were about to run an anime party with them. He told them I stole it. He has the page. So on paper, you're like, well, maybe he's right. You know what I'm saying? But he'll never tag me on the internet because my reputation's too sturdy. He turned off all the comments. You know what I'm saying? So I have multiple people hitting me like, yo, what's this talking about? Trying to steal. I don't have shit to steal. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening right now.
It's a dirty game.
It's a dirty. I could tell you. A video just came out today about the festival I used to own here in Atlanta too. The artist took it. They wanted to sue me for it. I said, take that shit. Just change the name.
What festival?
It's called Holy Smoke. So we ran it for 2 years.
Bruh, I'm gonna tell you something about that, right? I saw the promotion on that, like even from the logo and everything like that.
You seen it now, the new one, huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is a while back, and I was like, I got screenshots on my phone. Like, this is how a party is supposed to be ran, like a show is supposed to be ran.
For sure.
Like from the logos, everything looks so clean. I was like, bruh. Cause we throw shows too. The Veto show. Like my shit was sold out. Like, you know what I mean? You see her right here?
Every time.
Like every time. So it's like we want to be great. So it's like you have to kind of study. Like, okay, I like the way this flyer looks. I like the way that the artists are like seen on the flyer, the images and stuff like that. And it's just like you have to mirror your own way though. You know what I mean? But go ahead, I'll let you continue. But that was dope though.
Yeah, for sure. I did Holy Smoke for 2 years. The artists, none of them lived here in Atlanta. One lived like in McDonough, but they don't live here in Atlanta. One lives in San Diego, 2 live in Nashville, right? So we were managing them. I'm like, I think y'all need to throw a festival. They were like, we feel like it's too soon. We started talking about it in January of 2021. By July of 2021, we throw the festival. First festival, 450 people, $60 per person for a day party. Like a day show, whatever, and then that night, the night before, we have like a pre-party, whatever, and then we had a basketball game, right? So premium ticket, VIP tickets, $150. Like, who's selling 450 tickets?
Yeah, we're gonna do work with you. We're gonna do work with you,
right? You know what I'm saying? But you know why? Because I have a mailing list. I have the people know me here, so I'm beating the streets. But it's like we send out emails. We know the marketing. My business partner is amazing at ads. So cool. We had a stacked lineup. Second year, we did it across the 4-day thing. Trap Sushi was the kickoff party, but across 4 days, we did 1,800 people, right? So third year, the artists are like, we want to talk ownership. I'm like, bet, we're already paying you 15% of this just to put your name as the headliners. But if you want to own your 15%, we spent $80,000 across the next 2 years. Let's do an actual company valuation. So in 10 years, this is how much it'll be worth. This is how much you owe us for 15%. In lieu of your services for the first 2 years, we'll give you a $25,000 discount, and we'll give you 8 months to pay the amount that we want you to pay. They said I was trying to steal it from them. I said, how, Sway? This isn't yours.
So you're giving the artist equity in the.
So they didn't have equity. They were getting paid a 15% revenue split.
Like, dang,
so the revenue of it. So let's say which I made per night. They were getting their percentage.
Yeah. So imagine us reversing a management percentage because we manage the artist, right?
Oh. Okay.
So we just reversed the management percentage. We said, since we manage y'all and y'all own the intellectual property, y'all own the company, we just get a percentage. I own the festival. We own the intellectual property, but y'all just get a percentage. So we were collateralizing people in opposite directions. They said, well, we didn't understand that. We are 50% owners, but we only make 15%. I said, explain to me how you're 50% owners, but the insurance policy is in my name. All of the venues are in my name. Before the festival, for 8 months, I have 7 people employed. The month of the festival, we had 24 people employed. The weekend of the festival, I have to pay 48 people. You don't know the sound guy's name. The venue gave us the main venue for free because of what we did with Trap Sushi is so massive. They were like, you have to bring events over to us. We'll give you the first weekend of your festival free so you can. The basketball venue, we brought so much business to them after we threw the basketball game there. They're like, we do all sorts of celebrity games. We've never had this venue sold out. They gave us the venue for half off. Do you know what I'm saying? These are my relationships. Tell me how you own half of this. You know, so when they wanted to take it, I said, take it.
Wow.
That's fine, but just don't take the name. But that was 8 months ago. So I was just like, I was hurt. And I knew I was losing 4 clients. I was losing out on a ton of money, but I was super hurt. So when Homeboy came trying to sue me for the party that I started way before even the festival, I said, bring it. At this point, I have time. You know what I'm saying? At this point, another person is messing with me. I have time.
That shit crazy.
Crazy. But this is what I got to go through as a woman in this industry.
It seems like in the festival that the artists didn't really understand the business aspect, and that's why they were sort of like
for sure. Well, they understand business. No. They understand business. In fact,
Oh, they
this
just wanted the...
Yes, this artist, the lead artist on the, he's one of the his business is locked. Like he had a plan to get his wife to retire his wife so that she could come work in the business. It was a 3-year plan. He executed it. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a merch company. Like this man, he knows business. That's the thing. When he confirmed with us, hey, so y'all are gonna pay for everything and we get 15% after everything on the back end. Yeah, for sure. It's greed. Once he told us he felt like it was too soon when I first brought it to him, because he knows him, he don't know me. He worked with me, but people can't see it if they can't see it. I can see it. I'm not bringing it up if I can't see it. So the first year, I'm talking about we're leaving the festival. We're still on the festival grounds. The first year he said, my favorite story to tell everybody today is how I doubted you. He thought that shit was funny. I'm like, I'm tired. Like, my voice is gone. I'm overdrafting right now, and you're laughing because you doubted me. Cool. Second year, they were like, man, we didn't think we were going to, this is incredible. Cool.
Damn.
So we here now. So after the second year, now you want to talk ownership. When you realize I have my business together, now you try to force your way in. He was like, my lawyers are going to get involved. I said, well, when your lawyers talk to me, they're going to realize that you're crazy. But I had 2 other business partners in that. This is the booking agency that I exited. One of my business partners is, I love him. Great dude. Well, I'm not business partners with him anymore, but we see business differently. He wants to work with them because they have a name. I'm like, nigga, I gave them that name. When one of them, the lead guy, and I didn't give them their full name. I'm not trying to, like,
you're talking about you gave him, like...
The type of credibility they have that he wants to work with. Before they even came to any of our companies, the lead dude called me when he left Capitol Records. Since he left Capitol, his business has gone like this. I have been with him every year since then. So I'm like, what you want is not that. You want what you think is attached to that. So he wanted to keep working with them. I'm like, they're threatening legal action and you want to keep working with them. So to me, I'm big on loyalty. My thing is money's going to come and go. I don't care. Right now, I should have so much money, and I don't. It's like I'm living a different type of lifestyle because I'm more about the integrity and the longevity of this. You know, so he wanted to keep working with them, and we couldn't reach alignment as far as the consensus about the festival. So not only did we tell them, like, I was like, well, if you don't want to approach legal action on our side, they can have the festival. They just have to change the name. So they changed the name to Smoke. But I just saw, right before I pulled up here, I saw an interview that he did apparently and said that we tried to steal the festival from him. But again, here's the thing. People will not name drop me. Because my credibility is I have too many examples. And if you meet me, you know that I'm not lying.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't have the capacity to lie. It's that I don't have the desire. The only thing in this life that you have is your reputation. Well, really your integrity.
Integrity.
Because your
reputation is after.
Yeah, because your reputation, you can kind of morph. It's your integrity. When you go to sleep at night, you're the only one who knows if you're lying.
Right.
That's the only thing that you have that can't be taken, but it can be given. So when homeboy is willing to lie to his own lawyers to sue me for something that's temporary, you're talking about a fucking party? Homeboy, it looks good to be aligned with me. I'm moving. I'm going places. Why won't you let me throw the party in another city and point back to your party to make it look bigger? But when you got tiny dick syndrome, all you can see is yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it doesn't make sense, you know? So it's an L for him and he's going to see it. When he feels it, it may be years because it's a long process. But when he feels it, his grandkids going to feel it because it's an epic failure. But with the festival, it's like, whatever. They can have it, do what you want. But slandering my name is not going to help you because God favors me too much. So.
All right, facts. What would you tell an up-and-coming artist that has a small buzz, but it's growing. It's not a small buzz.
Yeah.
What are some of the steps that you would tell them for success? Like, what are some of the steps that you can, like, show them? Like, all right, you should do this. Like how you built your festival.
Yeah.
Can you give some?
I would say ignore the buzz and connect to your community. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, buzz is temporary. It's like a fly. That shit lasts, like, as long as they live, like a day. What is the lifespan of a fly? Like 23 hours, something like that. It's insane. So it's like buzz doesn't last, but if you have a community, that's another thing. It's like all these people coming for me saying stuff, but it's like, cool, you got that moment,
right?
But I have a solid community, community.
And when you say community, what do you mean by like?
Like people who really want to fuck with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like not people who liked a song and they see that you're hyped right now. That's what I'm saying. Ignore the buzz. Because anybody is attracted to something that's hot right now.
Right. That's
But
glorified.
people are fickle. So that's not your fan base. That's somebody who's watching you. Your fan base is somebody who's invested in your greater good. That's somebody who's willing. So on a technical aspect, I'll break it down technically for you. A critical mass is 1,000 people willing to spend at least $100 on you a year, right? So that's a critical mass. So if you have 1,000 people willing to spend $100 on you, you probably have another 200 people willing to spend between $5 and $99 on you. Right? So if you look at that after taxes and paying the team that you'll probably need to facilitate that, you can be a 6-figure earner by just having about 300 dedicated fans. You hear me?
Damn.
Simple. So what you should be doing is trying to get one person every single day who actually cares about what you're doing. So when I did the festival, the way I broke down the price point is if we do $60 for people to get in and then they spend another $25 on merchandise, they likely will buy something else in the fall. So now I know that if 800 people come, I'm 80% to my critical mass for this group that I'm growing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Man, you broke that shit down.
Simple. It's simple math. So like when these music execs are like, build your Spotify, bullshit. I have artists who have less than 100,000 monthly listeners making a full-time living. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it the way that they're telling you to because all they're trying to do is get you to assimilate into the slave system again. Like if I only get paid 0.0003 cents per every stream on Spotify, that you're now telling me that's what my music is worth. But if I release this project early on a platform called Even, which is one that we work with, Even says, name your price as a fan. It has to be at least $5, but what would you pay to listen to my project early? I have a homegirl who just dropped a project on there. She has 50,000 monthly listeners. She made $15,000 in the first 24 hours. In order to do that on Spotify, you have to stream damn near 1 billion times.
That's
it's
crazy.
several hundred million to make $15,000.
That's crazy.
Crazy. So you know what I'm saying? But again, if you go the traditional route, it's like, so like your shows, you make way more out of show than you do streaming your music.
Correct.
So why wait it comes how you make it. You have a community though. You have people, you have at least, every time you throw a show, you know at least 30 people who are going to buy a ticket. Now you have to go ask them. That's the issue. Niggas want to be cool and post it on Instagram. I was selling out shows before I had my third sold out hip hop show in Atlanta. I had just switched over to hip hop. Like I was like maybe a year into throwing shows. I had my third sold out hip hop Atlanta show a month after I started my Instagram. So I just posted about my show. I had like 15 followers. Like I don't use Instagram like that. I use it now. I have a solid following on Instagram now.
Facts.
But it's like my Instagram is really just a resume. I got that from Scotty. Scotty will post anything on it. He's like, I don't care about these likes. When people come to see who I am, this shit is verified. You can scroll for days and see what I've been doing. So now I'm like, okay, I use it like that. I do my stories, whatever. But it's like, you want to talk about throwing a show? I got 15,000 emails in Atlanta. I got 8,000 in LA. I got 22,000 in Austin, Texas. We got 8,600 in Dallas. That's weight.
That's weight.
Because that's coming directly to your inbox. I don't have to ask Instagram. You may not open it, but right now we have a 32% click-through rate. If 32% of almost 50,000 people click on my shit and then it's branded well, you see a fire ass flyer with so I just got back from LA 2 days ago or yesterday. We did.
That's where you went. You had an event out. You had an event out there.
So one of my
you didn't invite me to none though, but
was you out there?
Nah.
I was like, no, you can. What you have an open invitation to anything I'm ever doing for free, Veto. Anytime you see it, if you there, let me know. But it's my homegirl, Sky Jetta, she's a DJ. She's Baby Tate's DJ, but she DJs for all these brands. She threw this party in Detroit where she's from called Be Fucking Pharrell. It's nothing but 4 hours of Pharrell music. So I hit her on Twitter when she posted about it, like, yo, let me help you throw this. So she hits me back. She calls me. She's like, yo, let's do it. So me and another homegirl here in Atlanta, we are taking Be Fucking Pharrell on tour. So we're doing it. We did it for BET Weekend. We're doing it for New York Fashion Week. We're doing it for Art Basel. And we might have just got a contract to do a crazy festival as the opening party.
No.
So since we were out in LA anyways, we were like, let's see if we can run another party. So Jetta was like, well, I've been thinking about this R&B concept called When Thugs Cry. So we ran both of them. Now, I'm not taking credit for the names, but she wanted me to be on board to help with ticketing, promo, whatever. So first time I ever threw a show in LA was in February for one of the artists that I used to work with. We don't work with him anymore. It was called You're So Beautiful. We did it at a plant shop. We was giving niggas plants. In the corner, we had a photo booth where people did awkward photos. We had, like drinks galore. We had a DJ. It was just a really beautiful. We sold these hoodies that say You're So Beautiful for men and women because it's like black people need to know that they're beautiful.
Facts.
So we threw that around him releasing his project on Even, the company that lets you get a preview of the project.
So what is so who like where did Even come from?
So they're
like,
new.
Yeah.
They reached out, like, so I got my ear to the street. I be trying to like be tapped in.
Right.
So I've been watching them, following them, and then they saw who we were working with. They reached out to him. I'm like, yo, we're his new managers, whatever. And so he understood that I understood the platform. So we actually got to throw their first ever event, which was the You're So Beautiful event. So it's a newer platform. La Russell.
I seen La Russell was talking about that
too. The first person to ever drop on it. That's how I got familiar with it. He had talked about it. So then I was researching it, and then they reached out maybe 2 weeks after La Russell dropped his project. So yeah, so I got it. So we did an event in LA for the first time. That was in February. So just now, my second two events happen right now in June, and it's like we had 800 RSVPs for the first one, which is the venue only had 100 people. We did like 350 people across the night, 4 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
The next event we did like 300 people. So it's like I'm telling you, I had 650 people come to 2 events. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when people try to like talk, I'm like, y'all can talk.
That's crazy.
Y'all can talk, but like, look at my resume.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not like, this isn't a pissing contest. That's what I'm saying.
You just gotta pop your shit sometimes.
Yeah, so like, and that's me. I'm normally like really low key. I don't even drop the names of my events or who I'm working with because I be trying to protect people. Or if somebody do me wrong, I'm like, oh, this artist. No, I'm telling y'all, these dumbass people keep trying to violate me. And it's like, the bigger that I get, the more y'all's names gonna be run through the mud because I'm gonna let people know, stay away from these guys. They don't have integrity. They don't care about people.
That's real.
Do you feel like you're facing like an actual glass ceiling, or
No.
it's just like microaggressions here and
Yeah,
there?
that's all it is. It's like everybody's attracted to greatness.
Right.
I don't have a glass ceiling.
Okay.
My purpose is too big. The only capability of a glass ceiling is me limiting myself mentally. So that's what all it is people being scared of greatness and attacking it. So it's hard, but like even when I was talking to my lawyer 2 weeks ago, I was like, this is annoying, but I'm kind of like, I'm in a place where niggas is trying to sue me. That like my weight has to be, that's crazy. In the last 8 months, I've had the threat of 2 lawsuits.
Right.
I must be doing something right.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So in terms of, you told us the story about people coming at you and stuff like that. The grace. Let's talk about the grace, the good part.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
It's more good than bad for
you getting
sure.
a lot of love, you know what I mean? Because, of course, we love you. You know what I mean? Everything that you do, I always tell you, like, man, you dope.
Showing love on and off the internet.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like you dope. You know what I mean? So it's like, tell the people, you know, where they can find you and stuff like that. And like, if they're interested in working with you, how can they work with you?
For sure. So you can find me at the Erinn Affect. So that's TheErinn. My mom named me with 2 N's because she knew I'd be doubly awesome. So she gave me a little extra sauce.
Dope. Shout out to mom.
Don't misspell my name. It's Erinn. And then it's Affect.
Let me see if I spelled it right.
Yeah, the Erinn Affect. I know that grammatically it's effect, but English is a made up language and I can do whatever I want.
Right.
And I like the acronym T. Like I feel like I'm sweet tea.
Right.
Like, I'm soothing and like I give you a little energy.
Okay.
I'm from the South, you know. So yeah, the Erinn Affect. You can find me on socials. I just started vlogging. So if you want to see me like crying about all the stuff that I'm going through with men in this industry or bouncing around to all the parties that I'm throwing or teaching, the Erinn Affect also, or under everything Erinn on YouTube. But if you type in the Erinn Affect on anything, you'll find me. Even my website is theerinaffect.com. And yeah, if you want to work with me, there's a link in my bio. I do consulting calls, but like most of my working is like invite only, and respect to the artist. I'm just really not trying to work with artists right now. People can't afford me. I can do a call with a company or like answer a few questions and make like racks. Like even my speaking gigs, it's like when I go to a speaking engagement, I'm making $2,000-$3,000 sometimes. So
that's
like,
dope.
Respect to
you be
artists,
up there fresh as hell too.
Yeah, thank you. It's just like when an artist is like, yeah, this is what I'm making a month. And I'm like, and you want me to take a percentage of it? And then I don't handle day-to-day stuff. I have an assistant and then I have a team. So it's like, you want me to take a percentage and then I got to pay all these people, but I could just do a call and make what you make in a month?
That's crazy.
Respect. And this
respect,
is like,
though.
It's
respect,
not no
though.
like weird flex, but it's just like, I realize my time.
Right.
Like I spent all these years getting this information. I might as well make the money off the information.
But like a lot of times people just want to learn, like based off of what you were just saying, like we throw events. So I want to learn from greatness. Like we were talking about, me and Jabbar was talking about that earlier. It's like,
and in an hour I can sauce you up so good to where
you gotta,
it'll really
you gotta
work
put yourself around people that have done more than you or are like, you know, going up in order for you to go up too as well. Yeah. So like we'll definitely tap in with you on that. And
then I got a podcast, the How to Build Your Own Dreams podcast. I do that with me and my business partner. So y'all can, that's free game. I'm on another podcast called the No Pain, No Gain podcast, which is DJ Payne 1, platinum selling producer, and me and him just talk about music business. And then I just ended, so Radio, Issa Rae's company just acquired the last podcast I was on. It's called the Music Entrepreneur Club. So they just acquired it, but we did 200 episodes. So you can go back and listen to 200 episodes of real business sauce, and then the transition. Soon Radio is going to be taking it over. I'll be popping up on their channel too, but it'll be more classes than it is a podcast. So, and
that's all of this is in your bio?
Yeah. You can see it's all in my bio. Just click on it.
Okay, cool. This is another episode of Vibin with Veto. This episode is sponsored by Stay Safe Chasing Money. You can get your apparel at shopselfdriven.com. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Shout out to my dog Westleaf, man. Go ahead and tell the people where they can find you at too.
You can find me at the Westleaf on Instagram.
Earth to West.
Oh yeah, Earth to West is my private profile. So yeah, hit me.
He said private profile. But thank y'all, man. We out.
Appreciate y'all.
That was good.